Hello world, welcome back to Golf Subpar with Colt Knost and Drew Stoltz and Sleaze. When I say hello world, it is now, I've recently found out, we are huge around the world.
Is that right? Finally.
Just over at the Asian Pacific Amateur in Dubai, Team India, Team Thailand, huge fans of Gravy and the Sleaze and Subpar.
Team India, dude. I saw you sent me a little snapshot with the squad over there. They looked like killers, by the way. I love what they were bringing to the table, all suited and booted. How did our boys from India do, by the way?
They had the most of any country. They had 7 guys representing over there. I believe 5 made the cut. But
solid?
It was solid. Man.
Good outing.
They were so much. We talked for probably an hour at the gala one night. They brought up you and Jordan Spieth, your condition.
Yes,
during the Jordan Spieth
it's a
interview.
Smash hit amongst the listeners. We need to get boozed up a little bit more. We say this is supposed to be like a round table after a round of golf. What happens after a round of golf typically? Get a little snapped up. Maybe we need to loosen it up just a little bit.
Maybe just a little less than that.
I mean, it's subjective. I was right there. I was still super alert. But I love the boys over there in India listening to the show.
Big
Shout out to those fellas.
Yeah, because I know they'll be listening this week. Big shout out. Congratulations on making it to the Asian Pacific Amateur. Sleaze, it was a really cool week for me. Spent the week over in Dubai covering it. It was way better than I even thought it would be. Dubai, such an incredible city. The golf was unbelievable. The number 1 amateur in the world, Keita Nakajima from Japan, got the W. He'll be teeing up in 3 of the 4 majors next year.
Good schedule. Working on the schedule. Yeah. You said he's got an entourage follows him. Like he's 21 years old, so he's a little older than some of these guys that you see, in the States, maybe 1 year college, bam, turn pro. He's 21, probably be 22 at the end of next year when he finishes those majors, but he's already got the whole entourage around. He got the fitness guy, the mind guy, the schedule guy, the handkerchief guy.
He is dialed. There's no doubt. But I was on the range getting to know some of the players the first couple of days. I was there with Matt Rollins, who works for Titleist, and we were talking about some of the people. And, I knew Keita Nakajima was the number 1 amateur in the world. I wasn't sure who he was or what he looked like. But I was on the range, and all of a sudden I saw this kid swinging a golf club, and I said, oh, my God, who is that? That is one of the most gorgeous golf swings I've ever seen. And they go, that's Keita. And I'm like, that makes sense.
It makes sense.
It makes sense now. But he's the number 1 am in the world. He carries himself like it. Everyone knows he's the number 1 am. Everyone knew he was the guy to beat, and he went in there and he got the job done.
You sent his video out on Twitter of his swing, and I was like, sweet Jesus. The amateur game has changed slightly, even since I was there. I mean, the kid looks like he's ready to go tomorrow, and it sounds like he is. He already's got, he played the Zozo
Played
recently?
the Zozo. He's won on the Japan Tour as an amateur. I mean, he's ranked 200th in the world in the official world golf rankings, and he's an amateur.
He's already got the entourage. He's got pretty much everything he wants.
He's doing it.
He gets the job done. Other than that, you did all the stuff. You saw all the sites, which you fly across the globe. Like, you need to get out of the hotel and go see some stuff. Highlight of the week, minus the golf stuff.
My incredible sand surfing skills.
Saw that. Was honestly
shredded.
Pains me to say it a little bit. I was impressed you made it down there. I thought we could have lost the boy to drowning, sand drowning. There was a lot of things on the table.
Hurley, Rip Curl, all those
Burton,
big companies.
Billabong.
They're all calling me. I wasn't really that excited to go out into the desert. I already had a long day, walking around talking about golf all day. It was hotter than shit out there. Like, let's go to the desert. I'm like, that ought to be really cooling. But after I did it, I was so happy I did. We had so much fun going up and through these dunes. We did it in an SUV. You go up, it feels like you're going to flip. These drivers are experts. Our guy's name was Shakir. I call him Shakira, obviously. But he was so much fun. These guys are experts at driving because the wind blows these dunes every day, so it changes the shape of the hills. And they don't know which way it is, but they're experts at driving through so you don't flip and all this. It was so much fun. Rich Lerner almost puked. He rolled down the window in the middle of a desert.
Smart.
Brilliant idea, especially
it's a hurricane.
when we go banking.
We cracked the windows a little bit.
Sand came all in. It was really cool. And then we went to the sandboarding. They pull out a snowboard. Never been on one. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this.
You didn't do a lot of snowboarding back in Pilot Point?
I haven't done a whole lot of snowboarding, Sleaze.
Interesting.
But Amanda Baliona, she went first. 5 feet down, crash. Went again, 5 feet down, crash. Nobilo gets on it. He's like, he's a risk taker. He's ready to go. 5 feet down, crash. 5 feet down, crash. I was like, guys, I'm not an expert at this, but I'm pretty sure it's kind of like golf. If you got a downhill lie, you got to get your body with the slope.
Right.
They were leaning backwards as they were going downhill, and they kept falling backwards. They're like, all right, well, let's see how it's done then. And I get on it, right to the bottom.
Straight down, bro.
And then I fell on my ass at the bottom because I didn't know what to do after that.
You're not binded in.
No, you're not.
It's like a skateboard, but it's a snowboard. Like, it's hard to turn.
I was just trying to make it to the flat. The only problem was the side of the hills is a crazy soft. It feels like you're falling onto a mattress. The bottom is a little firmer. It hurt my ass when I fell.
And then you peel the sand out of every orifice of your body for the next month. Have you gotten it all out yet? You ever blow your nose and you just find a little mountain in there?
I think so. But the worst part was I had to climb my ass back up that hill through soft sand.
Yeah, where's the
I
gondola?
was exhausted.
Where's the gondola? I saw you go down. I was very impressed. You said you're the Sean White of the dunes. They're
Shaun
calling
White
you.
of
He's the
Dubai.
flying tomato, so I came up with a nickname for you. I think you're the flying potato.
That's fine. I'll
That's
take it.
good, dude. We can market that.
We can.
We can work with that. The flying potato. It's beautiful.
It was a lot of fun. Also went to the Burj Khalifa, which is the highest.
Is that
building.
Wiz's brother?
It is highest building in the world. You know, Wiz,
Yeah,
Wiz maybe a little high.
Yeah,
Building's pretty
exactly.
high.
Shit makes sense. Saw the picture you sent of that too. It was like, oh, there's the building down there. It's 80 stories high, and you are, in a different galaxy. That looked honestly not like afraid of heights, but like just going up the top of that thing, a little dicey.
So
and the building sways, right?
it
Like
sways
if the wind
a little
blows,
bit.
it moves.
I thought it was going to move a lot. We went up there at night, but you can go all the way up to the 154th floor. Okay, you take an elevator. The elevator goes to the 125th floor in less than a minute. It's the fastest elevator in the world. Then you got to get out. It has like 27 elevators in the whole place.
Yeah.
But 154, it is 2,800 feet high. Oh, it's a half mile high.
What the hell? What's on the top store? Like, is that an office building? Like, hey, dude, congrats. You're
So
the
it's
CEO. You're up
residences.
here, and if the wind blows, you might die.
Yeah, there's residences all over. They charge you. It's like $250 a person to go all the way to the top. So they make money off this thing. It's like an amusement park ride getting ready for it. You go through these lines, you hear all this about the building, then you get in an elevator with 40 people and go up. It's crazy. You get up there, they give you a drink and a little food, music's playing.
You need it to be up there.
But my God, you look at like when you're down on the ground, you see all these other buildings, the big hotels and everything. Then you get up to the top of the Burj and you look down, and you're like, oh my God.
Oh, there's a plane down there,
Yeah,
about 100
exactly.
feet down. Yeah.
It was cool though, man. It was such a cool experience. Had a blast over there. Can't thank the people enough at the Asian Pacific Amateur for having me.
Yeah, we get to see the main man coming back and playing 3 majors next year. I want to see what this kid's all about because, he's got to be turning pro as soon as that last major ends, and then bam,
Keita
hello world.
Nakajima. Don't forget it.
Keita Nakajima.
Yes.
Got it linked in.
You think there'll be many Japanese media at Augusta next year?
I'm sure he and Hideki won't play a practice round, and it won't be like the Beatles are out there. That thing's going to be massive when they come up.
All right. Well, one of our favorite guys on the PGA Tour picked up
Yes.
a rather big win this week. Going back-to-back. We picked him on FanDuel. That's also back-to-back weeks for us, delivering a victory.
Double
for
chicken.
you guys out there. If y'all like money, whatever, keep listening. But our guy, Victor Hovland, got just dominated. 4-shot win with not even his driver shaft.
I know. How about it? It's a very similar situation to myself. Went into the tournament without his own driver. He was able to get the job done. That's probably potentially where I went wrong. I should have just borrowed from somebody else instead of taking the 5 racks. But yeah,
he
went up
made
there.
$1.3 million.
He did slightly better than I walked out of there with actually 0, I think, at the end of the week. Playa del Carmen and Don and Charlie's took most of that 5K that I got that week. But he drove it on a string. How about, borrowing James Hahn's shaft? Mine broke. By the way, Danny Lee broke it doing some speed training. I don't know why you loan your driver out.
feel like
for
there's
some
more to
guy
this
work
story.
some stuff. Yeah, I don't know if he stepped on it or what, but he broke his shaft. He had the same head, takes James Hahn's backup driver shaft and proceeds to go T2, strokes gained off the tee, drove it on a string like he always does. It was 7, 8, 9 for me watching this thing because there was a time there he had a good cushion, looked like he could potentially run away with it, but if some things go wrong, there was enough guys playing well that can make it interesting. Scotty Scheffler was on the back nine making some birdies. 7, which used to be number 1, the par 5, he misses the fairway, has to lay up, ends up getting up and down for birdie there, making a nice 10, 12-footer. Then the next hole, 8, the par 3, blows it long left into the sandy area, gets it up and down with like a 15-footer for par, and then on the 9th makes like a 35-footer for birdie, and instead of being par, bogey, par, it was birdie, par, birdie, and at that point he turned with a 4-shot lead, and it was pretty much Rap City at that point.
Isn't it crazy that here's a guy that was at top of the world? He's won the USAM. He's one of the best amateurs in the world, one of the best college players in the world. Comes out, he's now won 3 times on the PGA Tour, and he sucks at one facet of the game, and that's chipping. He did chip it pretty well this week, but isn't it crazy? He's a top 10 player in the world, and he can get so much better.
By his own admission, he sucks. We're not putting words in his mouth and just saying he sucks. He came out after he won, I believe it was in Puerto Rico, was like, I suck at chipping. And he's gotten a lot better. Like, he chipped it good this week. He shot, 9 under in the 3rd round. He said, that wasn't my best ever ball striking round, but like around the greens, chipping it and putting it, put that together, and I got a 9 under out of it. I've hit it better than that, but I haven't done all the other stuff quite that good. And yeah, that 3rd round is where he really did it. And, like you said, if he's winning at this clip with a pretty, he's now in the top 10 in the world golf rankings. If you went through the top 10 and said, find me something in one of these guys, one aspect that they stink, that they're bottom tier in, you'd have a hard time to find one that you could pick out of any of those guys. And his chipping just keeps getting better.
Well, Sleaze, that makes 5 straight foreign winners on the PGA Tour. He's the first guy to win back-to-back at the same event since 2019. And that was Brooks Koepka at the PGA Championship. So that's a hell of an accomplishment in itself, considering how rare we see it lately.
Yeah, you mentioned the foreign winners. There's a lot of dudes apparently pissed off from that Ryder Cup that are making amends for that right
that's a good
now.
point.
Coming off of that Ryder, like, we're better than that. And Matthew Fitzpatrick, Victor Hovland, they're doing it right now. But I'm anxious to see what he does. He hasn't had the greatest of track records in major championships thus far. I believe, what did we say, 12th is his best finish at this point, twice. I think that's probably because of that short game a little bit, but going into this year, man, that tee to green game sets up very nicely for some of these bigger venues, and I'm anxious to see if he can play his way into one of these things. I think he's going to be at or near the top at some of these leaderboards come Sunday.
Yeah, I think his game is built for major championships, much like our guest this week, Fuzzy Zoeller, the legend, is in the house.
The Fuzz, one of the
Getting
best
fuzzed up.
One of the get fuzzed up. He's in the vodka game. He got Fuzzy's vodka, which we talk about a little bit of that. The man. You know that, like, in the drug game, Colt, I like to watch a lot of drug stuff. They say don't get high on your own supply. That's rule number one, right? Fuzz does not subscribe to that theory. The man's getting buzzed on his own stuff quite often, but fun talking to him, get some of these old school stories. I mean, he played in an era which we get into, like John Jacobs, for instance, maybe the definite most interesting man in the history of golf. He was running around with him a lot, especially on the Champions Tour. Just a different era, and when it was seemed like there was a lot more fun being had out there. It was still a business, but they were not afraid to get after it.
All right, well, let's get right to it. Here's Fuzzy Zoeller on Golf Subpar.
All right, the man with us here today is a two-time major champion, 10-time winner on the PGA Tour, one of the biggest personalities in all of professional golf, and a rare one-name celebrity, Colt, like Elvis or Beyonce. The great Fuzzy Zoeller and his daughter Gretchen are in the house. How we doing?
Doing great. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. What were the two names? Beyonce and Elvis?
And Elvis, yeah. You say Elvis, you don't need the Presley. You say Beyonce, you don't need whatever the hell her last name is.
That's true.
Yeah, well,
People know.
She doesn't need a lot. She's got it all. She doesn't need a lot.
True. Very true.
Well, Fuzzy, we're here today to obviously talk a lot about you, but also your vodka, which we have been enjoying. Thank you so much for sending us some to try. It is fantastic.
Yeah. Well, go ahead and pop the
there
top.
it is, right
what
there.
are you waiting on?
It's a little earlier out here in
better
Arizona.
time
We
than
might
present.
have took a little pull before to relax a little bit. But tell us, what made you ever want to get into the vodka business?
It all started with wine. I'm sitting in my office and had the wine people come to me and offer me a pretty lucrative deal on putting my name on a private label wine. And I told him, I said, well, that's nice. But I said, what's going to make my wine taste different than, say, Greg Norman's wine or Ernie Els' wine or David Frost's wine? Hell, even Freddie Couples has got a wine. Shit, he doesn't even drink. Now you figure that one out.
He's got everything.
Well, they couldn't give me a real good answer. You know, they kind of beat around the bush. They must have been all Democrats or something because they never gave me an answer. So I was sitting in my office 18 years ago now. Well, the office that I'm sitting in right here. And we're throwing things around the table on a Saturday morning. And the wine thing came back up. And I said, well, you know, this wine deal sounds like a very interesting deal. I mean, it was, like I say, a very lucrative type thing. And but I said, I don't drink wine. So how in the hell can I put my name on something that I don't drink? It just didn't make any sense to me. Plus, there's too many wines out there now anyway. And they couldn't tell me how my wine was going to be different than anybody else's. So there was a lot of dark corners on that deal. So one of my friends was walking by the door here in the office here and yelled in. He goes, I heard you talking there. He said, why wouldn't you do a vodka? God knows you drink enough of it. And I went, now this has got some potential. We got some merit here. Now we can grow on something. No other sports figures ever shot at the spirits market. Everybody's gone to the wine market. So we talked about it, called around the country. There were 6 distillers that would do a specialty private label premium wine or vodka. And I asked them to send some product, whatever they had, so I could taste it. So the following Saturday morning, I'm sitting in here in my office at 9 a.m, tasting these 5 different vodkas. And I said, whoo, 4 of them were rot gut. And the 5th one was just smooth as silk. And I said, now this has got it. This is the one. And it was out of Bend, Oregon, a little distillery out of Bend, Oregon. So we, one thing led to another. And as it turned out, this is how we got the Fuzzy vodka started.
There it is. And Gretchen, that's got to be nice market research when your job is like, all right, we're going to need to test every single vodka out there in the world and make sure ours is better. You go first.
Yeah, exactly. And we got fuzzed up, that's for sure. But it was kind of crazy how we all anonymously chose the same vodka. It is super smooth and, doesn't hurt you the next day either, which is really, really nice.
That's what I'm looking for. I don't want to be hurt.
She brought up a very good point right there. Because of the way we filter it, 5 times distilled and 10 times filtered, we've taken a lot of what gives you the headaches on your cheaper vodka. All that has gone out. So you shouldn't wake up with a hangover on the fuzzy vodka.
And because it also sits in the oak barrels, that also helps as well. Cut that edge off. But, with the liquor industry, you have to go in front of, the board, and it's a blind taste testing, and they give you a rating. And we actually have a 94 rating on the product too, which makes it just phenomenal. And we've actually moved our production to our home state of Indiana. So it's really been neat to have this product kind of evolve over the years.
I love it. What's Fuzzy's go-to cocktail with the Fuzzy's vodka?
Oh, fuzzy tonic with 2 limes, tall glass.
I got it right here.
I got it right here.
A little fuzzy.
Don't give me one of those short glasses now. I need a tall glass.
Gotta have a tall glass.
Get fuzzed up. I heard you say that earlier. Is that the slogan for the company? Get fuzzed up. I love that.
Yeah, well, Gretchen's the one who brought that up. Get fuzzed up. So it sticks. It's nice. It's a nice ring.
Well, Gretchen, a lot of people might recognize you because you've been on the bag for your dad, Fuzzy, walking up and down the hills of Augusta National. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us about your golf background and then how you ended up caddying for Fuzzy.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously I'm his daughter, and I've played golf my whole life. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I went to school at the College of Charleston in South Carolina, graduated in 2006, and came back that Christmas, and I got a little buzzed up, and I said, Dad, your last Masters, I should really caddy for you. And he's like, oh yeah, right. He's like, okay, well, if you want to do it, let's do it. And I'm like, yes. So I'm dead serious, and he thinks I'm joking. So anyways, it came to fruition that April, and it was so funny because it was one of the coldest Masters in the history of the Masters. So I'm sitting there freezing my ass off on Monday, and we're supposed to go play a practice round with Ben Crenshaw. And since I'm in my monkey suit, as Dad calls it, I'm not allowed to go into the clubhouse. So anyways, I have been there for so long that I got to know all the security guards. So I sent one of the security guards up to ask, go ask my father, since he's made me sit out in the cold for 2 hours, if they were playing today. And he goes, you know what? Let me go ask him. Goes up to the champions room. And then 2 minutes later, here comes Dad and Ben, both of them smoking darts, looking down at me. And they're like, you think we're playing today? We don't play in this weather, half popped. I'm like, did you all ever think to tell me that? No. So flash forward to Thursday. First tee was moved up 20 yards.
Before you got to the first tee, Gretchen, your strap on the bag broke.
Oh yeah,
I had to have it.
Caddy Fred helped me out with that.
I had to have a double strap. You should see at Augusta, which they don't really have a lot of services like the trailers and everything, but they're across the street, off property. And she broke the strap on my golf bag, which I don't know how she did that. Frustrated because
probably because the damn thing's the same size as me, and I had to throw it up over my shoulder.
I had it empty. I emptied. I got the smallest bag I could for you, and it was still heavy. And there was nothing in it. Maybe 3 or 4 bricks, a couple dozen balls, but
yeah, exactly.
That shouldn't make a bag heavy. Go ahead. I'll let you tell them.
So it's so funny because I'm so excited, and I'm so just pumped up to caddy for Dad. We get to the first tee. I don't realize the tee boxes have been moved up 20, 25 yards. So I'm
this is Thursday morning now. Thursday morning of the tournament.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, 38, just driver.
38 degrees.
Ooh. Yes.
North wind, which is right in your face on number 1. Go ahead. I'll let you tell it.
So give you a driver. You rip it. You smother hooked it. You did. So he gets a little bit of extra roll out of it anyways. But it's in the left trees. And he looks back at me and he's like, how did I get it there? And I'm like, I don't know. And then he looks back and he's like, the tees are moved up. You've already screwed up. We haven't even hit a second shot. So, we go to the second shot and I said, man, Dad, you want the good news or the bad news? He goes, bad news. I said, you've got 230 in the wind to the front green. And he said, well, what's the good news? I said, you got a shot. So I was like, just, put that up there, roll it up there. Let's see what happens. So he does. Doesn't get up and down, make a 5. We keep moseying along. We go to hole number 4, which is where the only palm tree is on Augusta. But the caddy has told me if this palm tree is blowing, you've got to take 2 extra clubs. I'm like, okay, look at the palm tree. Definitely need the 2 extra clubs. Walk back to Dad, and I said, ooh, you're not going to like this one. We got 248 to the front edge and a 2 club wind. I said, you need driver. But how about you just bump this little 3-wood into that front bunker and let's get that up and down for par. So sure enough, he bumps it right on up there, up and down for par, and it was great. Awesome par.
Now, do you guys want to hear the real story? The real story was I didn't hook my tee shot on one. It was in the fairway. I was on the uphill. She comes strutting back there. She's walking up there. She comes back. She goes, good news, bad news. I said, well, give me the good. Give me the bad. I don't care which would. Give it to me. You got 235 to the front, I think it was. 235 plus 30. 265. I looked at her right in the eye. I said, now do you want to know why I want to retire from this place?
Exactly.
Don't ever let facts get in the way of a great story. I was trying to give this 265 because it's like, makes you really look like a short hitter, Well,
there was a 20-mile-an-hour north wind, 38 degrees. My bones weren't as young as they used to be,
I love that. Now you see why I want to retire from this place.
Yeah, good news.
I got one more for you. We're on the 11th hole, and 11 is long. It's 500 some odd yards long into the wind. And I really chicken walked the driver down the fairway. I mean, I was proud of it for me. And I got there and she walked back. She goes, you got 260 and 25. I'm going, come on. What part of this haven't you quite figured out yet? I don't have shots for this golf course anymore.
Well, tell them what you hit into that hole when you won. It was an 8-iron.
Well, yeah, that was in the playoff.
Yeah, we're going to get to that.
I must have hit a sprinkler head or something. It went way down there.
But it was really neat. Like walking up 16, the whole gallery stands up and starts chanting, Dad's name. And of course, I'm not a crier, but I get really emotional when things in sports are just like awesome. And so he goes, what the hell are you doing back there? I said, this is just amazing. And he's like, get it together. He had some tears on 18 and I went to give him the towel to wipe his tears. He goes, the golf ball. I don't need that. The golf ball. But we had a good time. I'm not a very good caddy at Augusta National, though.
Yeah, it's 17. She started whining, crying. It's almost over. I've had the greatest time on. And I went, Jesus Christ, Gretchen,
I just was
give me
so
a
proud
break
of your daughter.
We got to go to the 18th hole, and then I did put it over in the trees. She comes up crying. You can't bogey the last hole. Don't bogey the last hole. Then I had to pitch it out. And I don't know, I hit it 7-iron in there about 3 feet or something, made it for 4. But it was a well job. Good job she did. It was a great job. That was
I can't
the
imagine.
First and only time she caddied.
Yeah, perfect. I can't imagine, how emotional that was for you two, and what a cool experience to share together.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
It was, and being the last one, I couldn't have had a finer person on my golf bag, and I mean that.
That is awesome.
Aw, thanks, Dad.
She's gonna cry again.
Yeah, we got to get her a towel. You want the towel or the ball?
We've only had one person. We've only had one person cry on this show, and it was George Brett.
Yeah.
And it was him
I was
talking.
gonna say, was it John Boehner?
George Brett cried talking about winning his club championship.
Yeah, we were talking about every award he won in baseball ever, and nothing, no emotion, and then winning the club championship in Kansas City, he started crying. It's like,
he's probably the only player in there. That's good, though. I'm probably got his name on a trophy.
I love it. Well, everyone's going to go check out this Fuzzy's vodka. It is delicious. We have tried it. We like to say we got amongst it or fuzzed up.
Get fuzzed up.
But we
got. And, if you use the promo code Subpar, go to fuzzyvodka.com. And that's fuzzy with obviously 2 Z's. And use the promo code Subpar. You'll get 10% off between now and the holidays. It's a great gift.
Sounds incredible.
Yes, it is crisp. It is a good vodka.
I love
Very
that.
good.
All right, Gretchen. Well, thank you so much. We're going to dive deep into your dad right here real quick. And
Yeah.
learn a little bit more
Love
about
it.
the fuzz.
Layers deep.
Yeah, bring it on, boys. Bring it on.
I cannot wait to get this. Is going to be so exciting. But one of the things I found out when I was doing some research on you, Fuzzy, was I didn't realize you were self-taught.
Yeah. Well, you got to understand now, I'm going on 70 years old. And when I first started, there weren't teachers. They had club pros who were the superintendents. They just did just about everything. But the gentleman who taught me how to play, Bus Schultz, along with my mother and dad, would always walk by me on the driving range. He said, try this, and I want you to try that. If that doesn't work, then try this. And he kind of let me develop it on my own. That way I would learn my own golf swing, which I thought was pretty neat. Today, you know, these kids, they all swing the same. Back then, when the older generation grew up, we didn't have teachers. So it's, you know, we were all self-taught. And that's the reason for why my hands were low, because it was very comfortable for me to do that. I didn't know you could bend golf clubs. I didn't know that until I got on tour. Didn't realize you could flatten the lies and
Yeah. And
so
you
there
always
were a lot of tricks.
Fuzz, you always address the ball on the heel of the golf club. Was that something you did that did something for you in your golf swing that helped, or was that just something that you kind of developed over time?
My clubs were just about that much too long.
Oh, there you go.
Think about what I just said.
Yeah.
No, you know what? I had a tip from one of the golf professionals over here in Louisville, Kentucky, Mo Demling, who gave me a little tip, because I used to hit the ball right to left, had a big old hook on it. I mean, I'd hook a sand wedge. And he gave me a little tip. And so when I get to the top of my backswing, the first thing that I should feel coming from toward the ball to be the heel of the golf club. And, you know, golfers sometimes are not real smart, and we get a little brain dead out there at times. So when I shoved the ball, club head out to the heel, that reminded me to pull the heel of the golf club toward the ball. So it was just a little tip, just a little, I don't know, anecdote that I did, and that triggered everything. Once I popped it out to the heel, I remember heel. I know you're thinking about it, aren't you?
No, I'm just thinking that all of our listeners at home are going to start trying to get that heel down in front. We're going to see all kinds of hosel rockets out there.
You just caused 70,000 shanks, Fuzzy.
Your hands are a little more talented than our listeners.
The slow play at the Muni this weekend is going to be out of hand now.
I know it. I know. Just after you pull the heel, just remember full right, because you'll miss a few of them to the right. But that's the feel you want. You want the heel of the club head come first.
And after you got that tip from Mo Demling, did you win in San Diego?
I did.
That's what I did. I heard that.
That's a good
lesson.
Sure
did. Yeah.
It's a quick lesson. I never had any lessons like that.
Well, I mean, like I say, golfers, we go brain dead out there because you play so much of it. You got to have little tips to remind you to do certain things in your golf swing. And when you get them all clicking, it's a beautiful thing.
And Fuzzy, being self-taught, I think that's a big asset in a way, because I think guys that are self-taught understand their golf swings better than guys that rely on a teacher to tell them what to do all the time. Do you think you could self-correct on a golf course if you were fighting, say, a hook or a fade or whatever it was that day, that you could fix it easier than, because you didn't need a teacher standing right behind you to tell you every single thing to do. You just made adjustments like you had your whole life.
Well, it's all done by feel, because that's the way we played. We played by feel. I mean, you think about a guy like a Hubert Green. How do you teach that golf swing?
Yeah. Put your hands on the ground.
Or let's think about Lee Trevino. How you do that? You know, he just found a knack. He was self-taught. He found a knack how to move that ball left to right and right to left, low, high. Hubert did the same thing. It was just, it's amazing to watch the older guys. And I think what's great about the older guys is that when you're walking down a golf course and you look over, and you could look over 4 fairways, you could see a Chichi Rodriguez swing and automatically put the face with the golf swing. I'm going to tell you today, it's very difficult because the kids are all 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", and they all swing the same. It's very difficult to put the face with the golf swing. You have to go over and check out that leaderboard in the back of them to find out which name it is and who it is.
Yeah,
well,
totally.
Their physiques are very similar to yours, aren't they, Dad?
Excuse me, Gretchen?
Their physiques are very similar to yours, aren't they?
Don't you hate on that type of physique.
He calls them flat bellies.
But
we like to refer to it. We just have more, there's more of us to love.
Yeah, right.
I
Well,
love
you
it.
got to remember, Gretchen, I was a lean, mean fighting machine when I was in my
I
prime.
know you.
Yes, you
I've
were.
seen the pictures, Fuzz.
Yeah.
You are a strapping young man.
No doubt
Strapping.
about it.
Oh, it was unbelievable.
But you mentioned Lee Trevino, obviously a unique golf swing, but two of the biggest personalities in the game of golf are you and Lee Trevino. How in the hell did y'all ever have a conversation together? Did anybody listen to each other?
I really, honest to God, I just listened to him. Because I'm telling you, after I won Augusta down there, I made a comment in the press room because I played with Lee the very first round, which I think was a complete bonus for me to have somebody who's lighthearted like he, even though he didn't like playing Augusta and he didn't have the golf game to play Augusta because he didn't hit it high enough. Just the comments he made around the golf course. I made the comment in the press room. I said, well, hell, he had more lines than the L&N Railroad. Little did I know that L&N was a big player at Augusta back then. So it was kind of fun.
Beautiful.
That worked
Trevino,
out.
one of the best.
Who were some of the other guys you like to play with? Because you're a guy that would yuck it up. I mean, you were always talking to the gallery, which I don't really see anybody do it right now the way that you did it. But who are some of the other guys that you, when you saw the pairings and you were playing with somebody, you got excited because you're like, oh, this one will be fun.
Well, I got excited to play with all of them. I'll be honest with you. I didn't have any trouble. We had a great big happy family out there because it was everybody stuck together. Family stuck together. We all went to dinner together. We had cocktails together. Yeah, it's a different tour now. The tour today is more of individuals as opposed to being family oriented.
Yeah.
But that's just the way it was. That's the way it is.
Yeah, now everyone's going to the gym, their trainer, their massage afterwards. Y'all went to the bar and
now, wait a minute.
and a cocktail.
Could you see guys like myself and all going to a gym?
No, I was with you. I ain't going to the gym.
It's not going to happen. Yeah, I went to the doctor today after my physical I've taken the last 3 days. And he said, I'd like to see you exercise more. I said, that's not going to happen. I am retired. What the hell you retire for? You don't retire to go work out, for God's sakes. You retire to relax. So that's what I do.
I was born to relax.
Yeah. You look relaxed in there.
Yeah, you do a hell of a job of it. I got to say,
relaxed.
tip of the cap.
Hey, one thing I want to go back to the 79 Masters. A couple things I'd like to know. First off, had you ever been there before then? I know it was your first one, but had you ever made a trip before at all?
No, I had not.
It's first time seeing
my
the golf
first
course.
time. My first time down Magnolia Lane was with my mother and father on Monday morning.
Did you know immediately?
It just sent a chill down my back because all I had ever seen were pictures. And trust me, it's prettier in person than it is with the pictures. Pictures don't do it justice.
I agree with you on that. But, you started the final round 6 shots back. Obviously, you had to have something really, really good happen to you or maybe someone slip up. But I want to go to the 15th hole on Sunday because I heard there was a very interesting story with your caddy.
With Jariah Beard, God love him. I mean, he led me around there like a seeing-eye dog. He told me where to miss, when to miss. It was unbelievable how he did it. But he was a local caddy. When I say there's positives to having a local caddy on the bag the first time you're there, there were true positives there. But yeah, we had 236 yards down the hill. And the old saying there on 15, of course, it was like a 20-mile-an-hour breeze blowing, so that put it about 250. If you see water, you go for it. Now think about it.
Yeah.
You stand on top of that hill. Now where these kids hit it today, they're looking at the whole lake. So I'm on my tippy toes, and I'm looking down in that far left-hand corner over by the Saracen Bridge, and I just saw a little bit of water. Jerry said, well, if you want to win, we got to go. I said, I'm on my way. Give me that 3-wood. And I just busted it. I mean, hit it as hard as I could, high, going right toward the middle of the green. That's where it landed. And I was so damn happy it didn't hit the water because that's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to screw up in front of 30,000 people,
My source let me down a little bit because my source told me Jerry said you have to see water, and he said he couldn't see it, so he made you said you jumped up in the air and said, all right, now I can see it. We got to go for it. I heard you showed off your vertical. I was told you showed off your vertical.
Yeah, well, Jerry's a little shorter than I am too, so that But yeah, it's just a great thrill. Ed Snead, bogeyed the last 3 holes to let Tom Watson and I back in, and that's the thing about the tour is if you just mess up just a little bit, there's always 1 or 2 or 3 people that want to get their feet in that door. And it just happened to be Tom Watson and myself because Ed bogeyed the last 3 holes and let us in.
When was the first time in that round? Because you started 6 shots back. You're in contention, but you need something special to happen one way or the other. When was the first time you started thinking about winning that golf tournament during that round?
I really never thought about it until we went down to 10th hole in the playoff. And I said, damn, wouldn't this be something? I said, I had already done and accomplished everything I needed to accomplish, which was to get in for the next year, finishing at elite 16 or what, 12, 16. So all the pressure was off me. I mean, I was just freewheeling it on down there. Hit a good drive at the 10th hole. Probably I'm the only one who really had a very makeable putt on the 10th. I had an uphiller just a little right to left, which used to be just gravy train for anybody love to have putt like that. The other guys were coming straight down the hill, left to right, speed putts. You don't make too many of those. But when I missed my putt, I thought, well, okay, I accept it. Then they both missed. We went to the next hole, the 11th. And then I don't know what happened. I just caught a drive that went extremely long. Now, this is going back to 79, so it was an old wooden hitter driver. So it's not like we had equipment that launches the ball. But I put one down there. I had 151 yards, a back left pin. And I told you I hit the ball right to left. So I was licking my chops when I heard the 151, and Jerry said, "Here, take this 8-iron and put it by the hole." So I put it right in the middle of the green and just drew it right back into that left pin position about 4 feet. And then it started set in on me. I mean, it's amazing what your mind does. You think about all the times as a young player standing on the putting green, putting for those Masters, the U.S. Opens, the British Opens, the PGAs. And by God, my dream just came true. I had that putt and I made it.
That's incredible. What was that night like with the green jacket?
It's long. I didn't get away from her till 1:15.
Wow.
After Augusta. Yeah, after Augusta, they go through the ceremonial jacket thing. After the going downstairs, coming back up, then you have the members, and then you have dinner with the members. And Tennessee Ernie Ford entertained that evening. My mother and dad thoroughly enjoyed that because that was in their era. But we had a great time. But it was about 1:30 before we walked out of Augusta.
Would you say you got a little fuzzed up that night?
No, I really didn't.
Oh.
I really didn't because, I was so damned excited. I mean, I did have a few with the members, but as far as getting blasted, I didn't do that. Plus, I had to go to California at 8 o'clock the next morning. So,
Gretchen, it sounds like Jerry had an easy job. I mean, you're out there pulling 3 woods from 265. All Jerry had to do was hand him an 8-iron from 150 in the middle of the fairway.
Exactly. He didn't let me off easy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Whose pay was better, Gretchen's or Jerry's?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh, well, to keep peace in the family, I'll say Gretchen.
Perfect. By the way, do you remember how much your winner's check
taught
was?
him well.
What was that again?
Sorry.
Do you remember how much the winner's check in 79 was?
Not very much, $50,000.
That is correct. Yeah.
50 grand. Hey, that ain't a bad week's work. I don't care what area you're in. 50 grand ain't too bad. But speaking of the money.
Listen now. For 4 days, that was very big money back then.
Yeah.
In 79.
Yeah. It's
And I was
different ball game now. So I want to ask you this because the money is so different right now. But like Colt was talking about earlier, it's so different out there now. You got the mental guys, you got the swing coaches, you got everybody, these entourages. It's an individual sport. Do you think you would have had as much fun playing golf in today's era as you did when you played? Take away the money?
Yeah. Yeah, I would.
You just love golf, though.
Huh?
You just love playing golf.
Well, it's a game. It's a damn hard game. It's the hardest game in the world because the ball just sits there. If the ball was moving, it'd be so much easier because you're reacting to a moving target. Now, when the ball just sits in front of you and laughs at you, and you got to do all the movement, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. A lot of things.
Back in your era when
Most
when you got paired with guys, was there anyone that just blew you where you're like, my God, this guy is so talented and good?
You know what? Sam Snead was the best player I've ever seen. Now, I mean, Bar Jack and Tiger and Arnold and Gary and all of them. But as far as ball hitting, now I never got to see Mr. Hogan hit balls. I've met him and I knew him, but I never got to see him hit balls. But Sam, I got to play with quite a bit. Played practice rounds with him, tournament golf with him, even at his older age. And without a doubt, he was the best ball striker I'd ever seen.
I want to ask you about a guy that you became very good friends with, and his name is John Jacobs. You may remember this man, but your good friend Lee Trevino had a quote about John. Speaking of like crazy talented golfers, Lee Trevino had a quote about John Jacobs, and he said, if John Jacobs didn't have every single vice in the world, you would have never heard of Jack Nicklaus. Now, that might be a little bit extreme, but would you put John Jacobs in that category, just crazy talent?
Yeah, I will say one thing about JJ. He has experienced it all. He has done it all. And what a talent. What a great guy. What a great you talk about a funny man.
Oh.
You get him. Oh, he's a funny man. Great person. Great friend of mine. I mean, I just love him to death. But yeah, he did it all in the golf.
You two had to have some times together.
It didn't make any difference where he was.
Yeah.
He was JJ.
But you two are cut from the same cloth, and I think you guys got pretty close with one another on the Champions Tour. You guys had to have some runs together, I would think, just in terms of having a good time out there.
Oh, we always kind of roomed together.
That's scary.
When Hubert got sick on me because I was always a roommate of Hubert Green's. We always got a condo together and roomed together. Then JJ slid in there. You know, it's a shame he put Hubert on the pine, but that's just the way it is. So, but you know, it goes back to that having fun, enjoying what you're doing, and we both thoroughly enjoyed what we were doing.
Who paid for
You
the
had a
rooms?
lot of fuzzy nights.
Yes. A lot.
Yeah.
Oh
JJ,
yeah.
this whole life has been
Who paid
fuzzy.
for the condo, Fuzzy or JJ?
Oh, we split it half and half, right down
All
right down the middle. You bet.
What's a scarier week in terms of the health of your body? Spending a week with John Daly, also your good friend, or spending a week with John Jacobs? Or is it just, you probably won't make it out alive either way?
I've got to tell you, John Daly, that week would scare the hell out of anybody. Because his torch blows at both ends. JJ will slow down every once in a while and take a little break, have a little rest. John Daly does not do that. There is no rest for him. He is full bore 24/7.
Like when you're dead.
Exactly. I agree with that. But you mentioned how talented JJ was. I would say John Daly was kind of the next era of JJ. Who, in your opinion, who had more natural talent, John Jacobs or John Daly on the golf course?
Natural talent. I'm going to say John Jacobs.
That's incredible.
That's shocking.
No, really, I mean, that's true. Now, John Daly came out. He was the first long hitter that came out with a touch and an imagination around the green, which it takes to learn how to chip, putt, and all the good stuff. But he was one of the first long hitters that had that touch. Had all that.
Yeah, crazy hands that doesn't get enough credit for that. But JJ was in a different era. This was pre-social media, pre-cameras on every phone. People didn't know about what was going on out there. If JJ played in the modern era right now, safe to say he would be the most like mythical, beloved figure on the PGA Tour. I mean, his stories are legitimately hard to believe when you hear them.
No, I agree. And you know what's mad? All of his stories are true.
I know, it's wild.
People will go, well, hell, you didn't do that. He goes, yeah, I did. You know, it's like when he wrecked the motorcycle over in Taiwan with his caddy back. Come on, you can't make his stuff up.
He is the best.
He did it and got up. He got up the next day and won the tournament. So there you go.
He is all time. Well,
yeah, he's too good.
We mentioned you won 2 major championships. I mean, how cool is it to win at Augusta National and Winged Foot, arguably the hardest golf course in the world? 1984. You were in some rather pain when you showed up to Winged Foot. And it's already going to kick the shit out of you anyway, but you weren't feeling good going in.
Hey, you know what's all part of it? I had the back problems. I was wearing a TENS unit 24/7 just to keep walking. But, you know, it's crazy how modern medicine, I finally got to the right doctor and I got it fixed September of 84. And I was off the tour for 6 months. Nobody even missed me in 6 months. But I was up in New York, hospital, special surgery, spending my 6 weeks in the hospital after the long operation, 8 hours of something, I don't know, surgery. I had to teach myself how to walk again. once I got up walking out of that bed after 2 weeks of laying flat, I said, well, okay, so my golfing career could be over, but I fought back. The doctor, Dr. Ralph Markov, did a marvelous job on me. At least he found out what it was, and it was all from cortisone. The 2 shots that I had taken in '79 up in Columbus, Ohio, 2 interns at the hospital gave me these 2 big shots, and what it did, it hardened in my system as opposed to gelling like it's supposed to, but it hardened and fused all my lower vertebrae together. So Ralph had to do a miraculous job of chopping all that away and getting my spine cleaned up. But it took a while. It took 6 months. And I got to tell you, 6 months is a long time to be sidelined.
No doubt.
Especially when you're itching to get at it.
Yeah, a little Advil and vodka, right? Isn't that the remedy for everything?
This was before vodka. Yeah, this is before. This is a butazolidine. Those days, you know.
Sounds delicious.
2 or 3 Yeah, it's something they gave the horses for pain, and it worked for a while. And then eventually, I had to get it done.
Yeah, self-medication I find to be the best route most of the time.
I want to ask a question about that U.S. Open in '84 because I found it interesting on the 72nd hole. It's well known you waved the white flag when Greg Norman made the long putt, and you thought you had just lost. But I heard you say that a USGA official came up and told you that it was for par.
Right.
What would have happened if he didn't do that?
What would have happened? I'd have probably hit my 6 iron the same place I hit it,
Perfect,
in the middle of the green.
But the guy just came up out of nowhere and told you.
Well, he was standing behind me. He was following our group in. And I saw Greg hit his tee shot, and then I saw the long putt. So what do I have to assume? I assumed he made 3. And I'm thinking, I'd looked at my caddy, Mike Mazzio, at the time, and I said, he just beat us. Because where the pin was, I'm not sure anybody could get it close. It was right on that front ledge at Wingfoot. Then it went down through a valley and up on a ridge. And I had 176 yards, and I just striped a 6 iron right at it, which hit just a little short, but went through the valley and up on the back ridge. And my putt had 10 feet of break in it. And I can only imagine where he made it from that back left corner, what he was looking at. Plus, the greens were bumpy and fast. So what a combination, and he makes it.
Yeah.
But, the USGA guy came up to me before I hit my 6 iron and said that was for 4. And I looked at him and said, where in the hell did he hit his second shot to? He said, in the stands to the right, which Greg had a tendency to do if one got into the heat. He blew it up into the stands, which were 40 yards right of the green. So, hey.
Then you went out Monday and slapped him around.
I was just lucky it was 4, yeah.
Yeah, then you go out Monday and you guys go into an 18-hole playoff. The thing, I think you said it was like hole 8, basically, where that thing was over. But you've won 2 majors. You won them both in playoffs. You played sudden death at the Masters. You had an 18-hole playoff at the U.S. Open. Which is the better format? What do you prefer?
Well, I prefer the sudden death only because, you have your audience there. Somebody should be crowned champion that evening. The 18-hole deal, it just takes another day out of your life. Mm-hmm. We were in town, so you might as well play golf. The sudden death, it's the way I like it. I like the sudden death part of it.
I'm with you. That thing needs to be decided on Sunday. As long
I
as
agree.
there's daylight.
Yeah, 5 days of a U.S. Open could drive a man insane. When you waved that white flag on the 72nd hole, did you have any idea that would become as famous of a moment as it has?
No, but I wished I had that little white flag, that white towel. But it was a little dirty after 5 days of being on the golf course. It was a little grubby looking. And I gave it to some little 12, 13-year-old boy walked up, can I have your towel? And I said, more than happy to. Go ahead. Get that dirty thing off my golf bag.
What a generous guy. I love it. But, obviously the game's changed a lot from your era to now. Do you still enjoy watching golf nowadays? With obviously with the way the guys go about it.
Do you want me to lie to you?
I want you to tell the 100% truth.
Take a sip of that truth juice there.
I enjoyed the hell out of the Ryder Cup because that was a good old butt whipping. People say to me, how can you get beat? I said, when you get 12 or 24 of the best players in the world playing, and 12 of those guys get hot, you can't beat them. Mm-hmm. And that was living proof what happened up at Whistling Straits. The United States was hotter than a firecracker, and there's nothing you can do but sit back and just pat them on the back and congratulate them.
How much are you watching week in, week out? Are you just watching like Ryder Cups, majors, things like that, or are you checking out the just regular tour events as well?
No, honestly, I don't watch golf on TV. It's not that I don't have an interest. It's just I've had my time. It's time let the other people have good times and enjoy. But golf on TV is all right. They've got some good cast of characters out there right now. I have a hard time relating to how far these kids are hitting the ball nowadays, or these young men, whatever you want to call them. I don't know. You drive the ball 400 some odd yards like DeChambeau did. Well, hell, that's 2 good pokes for me. That's a good drive and a good 3-wood, and he's doing it all in one swing.
Are you playing much golf anymore?
I don't play golf at all.
At all?
I have totally retired from it. Well, I had a lot of arthritis in my hands, and I just got tired of the pain. And now the pain has subsided since I've stayed away from it. My back doesn't hurt anymore. Yeah, there's a lot of positives to just giving the game up. But when I said I retired, and I meant it. It's not that I have ever looked back and missed it. I don't miss it. I miss the people. I miss the players, but I don't miss the playing of the game.
So what are you doing right now to fill your days? I know you're a big hunter fisher. You spending time doing that and working on a little fuzzies, vodka?
Well, little fuzzy. You going to join me, or are you just going to sit there and talk all day?
God bless you.
Well, you know what? I do a lot of fishing when I'm in Florida. I got a home down in Naples. Matter of fact, where Gretchen's at. And then I also hunt. I hunt almost every evening, October, November, part of December, for deer. So I keep myself occupied. It's not like I'm just sitting on my butt. I'm absolutely doing something that I thoroughly enjoy. There's nothing better. Go ahead.
You're a pretty good critic of golf. You have no problem following Chase and I around and giving us your opinions on how bad we're playing.
Well, I understand, but I'm trying to give Chase a little motivation, get his butt going. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, Fuzz, every week here with our guests, we do a little segment called Emergency 9, where we ask 9 fun questions to get to know a little bit more about you. So we're going to start right in. We ask this to everybody, and I have a feeling I might know the answer to this. It's going to be no one. But you can trade lives with anyone for a day, whether anyone you've ever met, wanted to meet, whoever it is. Trade lives with anyone for a day. Who would it be?
I want to be you.
To answer that.
I want to be you. After.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't switch my life for anything.
That's what I figured.
But
the answer was
I would love to be Arnold Palmer just one day.
I don't blame you.
Man had the charisma, and just see how he handled it all the way through. I mean, I took notes, and God bless him for teaching me all the things that he did teach me over the years that I knew him. But just one day, that's all.
You got some parallels. You both got drinks named after you. You got Fuzzy's vodka, and he's got the Arnold Palmer. So you're kind of the same guy already. You know what I mean?
I know. God bless him.
God bless
but
him.
he always put kettle in his. I couldn't get him to jump over. All I had to do was jump that fence, and I would have put him in the Fuzzy vodka.
That's right. All right. I had one fuzz for you, but you've already answered it throughout the interview. So I'm going to audible this one right here to you, Gretchen, because as we were talking about before we went on, last year you caddied for one of our close buddies, one of the best dudes in the world, Andres Gonzalez, down in Alabama at a Corn Ferry Tour event. And he told me, quote, Gretchen could drink me under the table without breaking a sweat. So can you confirm or deny that you can actually outdrink Andres Gonzalez, who's not a small man, by the way?
Yes, 1,000%.
Wow.
Is that because you're that good or he's that soft?
I'm that good.
Okay, that
and
confidence.
I won't be mean to AG. He's my buddy.
No, he's
the
not
best. A softy.
Okay, well
then hey, hold on a minute. AG's he's a wimp. He's a softy. Gretchen's a trained professional like her dad. So you gotta like Gretchen in that battle. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's just say Fuzzy did still play golf. Gretchen, you have to caddy for one more person again, and you get to choose Andres or Fuzzy. Which one would be the easier person to caddy for?
Oh, AG. Andres. For sure.
Oh, I love it.
Those are probably the 2 happiest golfers I've ever been around. Legitimately, the 2 happiest guys on the golf course.
Yeah, they are the best.
You got an easy run.
I do no wrong in his eyes. Dad would definitely keep me toting the line for sure.
Go caddy for Kevin Stadler one time and see the other side of that coin. Then you test your mettle.
Hey, you seen that?
We've actually played with him in the father-son, and it was an interesting one, wasn't it, Dad?
Oh, he's an all-timer.
Is he not? He is a spitting image of his dad. You know that.
It is unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
All the mannerisms, all the stuff. It's just uncanny.
Yeah. Good family. Great family.
You just got to pull them off the golf course. They just love being there.
A couple of balls of sunshine out there. What's up, you or me?
I'll go.
Right.
So I know you don't watch a whole lot of golf today, but is there any PGA Tour player that somewhat reminds you of you a little bit?
Today?
On today's PGA.
I'm not sure. I've seen one out there.
I think Joel Domin's kind of close. I mean, not swings, but personality. I mean,
Joel,
who's better than him?
Maybe a Max Homa.
Oh yeah, Max would be a good one.
Be one I'd throw in. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Both those guys similar. There's only one Fuzz though. That's why you're on a one name celebrity, dude. Like you're Beyonce and Elvis. They're not. You say Joel, it could be a lot of Joels. You know.
That's a good point.
So
very good point.
All right, Fuzzy, I want to ask you this one because we used to ask this to everybody and we eliminated it, but I'm curious to know your response. If a movie was made about the life of Fuzzy Zoeller, who would you want to play you?
Who would I want to play me?
Yes.
Somebody that was gray head. You know what? Charleston Heston, I think, would probably be a good one.
Well done.
Gretchen, do you have any input?
See, Gretchen's
pretty impressive.
No, I think
impressive, Dad.
He's got talent. Man had a lot of talent. So I'd say I'd have to let him fire at it. I think he could do it.
Okay. Gretchen, do you concur or would you go a different route?
Yeah, I think that's a good one. But I mean, if anybody I'd like to have, probably Kevin Costner. Why not? He's done great golf.
He's got a little golf swing too already, so we wouldn't have to work on that. That'd be the tough part. Yeah. Okay.
I'm not going to say anything. He needs a few more lessons, but I'll give him credit. He came out here at the Wolf, used to be my charity tournament, the Wolf Challenge, and just put on a hell of a show for the fans. I mean, I don't know what the fans could ask for anymore. And then he got up and entertained for 2 hours with his band. Yeah, he would be a good one, Gretch. You're right.
He also learned his golf swing from Gary McCord, so I mean, you got to cut the guy a break. He didn't have much of a chance.
Come on now, you got to cut a break after that.
Yeah. The fact he can even grip the thing is a miracle after listening to McCord. All right, Fuzz. Next one, I want to know because this was a little bit public when this happened, but did John Daly ever forgive the wager you had with him for saying he would make it to 50 years old?
He's outlived 3 cats. You figure it out with 9 lives, so that's 27. Yeah, he forgave me. I gave him a big bottle of vodka, and they had it that evening on his 50th birthday. I did it on the first tee down in Houston. But yeah, he forgave me.
What a guy. That's a nice guy. Yeah, he can just pay off any debt with a bottle of vodka. That's nice for you, too, because I bet you got a big inventory. You got a lot of bets you could pay off.
Exactly. But it was it worked out fine. He didn't know it was coming, so and I didn't think he was going to live this long. He probably shouldn't have lived this long, and he'll tell you that too.
Well, JJ's still kicking too, and by God, he's defying all the odds right now. He probably lived to be 110.
Exactly.
Yeah,
See, that's
possible. He's like a cockroach.
They're too stubborn to die.
He can't die. The immune system, I mean, shit, it's a bulletproof, dude. He's been through everything.
These doctors tell you to work out, eat your greens, don't drink alcohol. Look at them.
Don't take that too serious. They tell everybody that walks in that door. When I was over there today, he said, I need you to walk 15, 20 minutes a day. And I looked at him, I said, it ain't going to happen. Don't even tell me that. It's not
I need you to shut up. Stop telling me what to do.
That's what I'm paying for, though. I'm paying for him to tell me to do something. So,
all right. Last question for me, other than yours, obviously, but what's your favorite Champions dinner you've been to, meal wise and just hangout wise?
Oh, there's been some good ones. How about if I give you the worst ones?
That's even better. I would love that.
Sandy Lyle's and the haggis might have been the worst of all.
What do you say?
Well, we all ate the haggis. Have you ever had haggis?
No. Sounds horrible.
Okay, well, don't ever do it. I mean, don't even take it on a dare, because it's like brains and everything. Oh my God, it's just god awful. And Sandy's just over there lapping it up, and I'm laughing at him. I said, how could you grew up on this stuff? How did you live? That's terrible. And then I got to tell you, let's see, who was it? Oh my God, we had one more, just a very plain white piece of chicken, a mashed potato. It wasn't very good. Bubba Watson's.
Oh, wow.
But he gave you a little ice cream afterwards that had little sparkles on it. That's the only thing that raised that cup. But other than that, it's the dinners are outstanding. They bring in their own chefs. They cook the food there. It's just the way the player likes it. So, but it's outstanding. That's a great dinner to be in and to be able to go to and listen to all the BS that's happened over the years, especially for an older guy like myself. I hate to say it, but I am getting older. Hear from the young guys. So I don't know what we're going to have this next year.
Do you normally sit next to the same person each year?
Sushi in there, huh?
Do you normally sit next to the same person each year?
No, we switch around.
Switch around? Everybody
kind of switches around. They just grab a seat when you get in there, sit down, and you start getting served.
Well, I have a feeling if you like Japanese food, it'll be pretty good this year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I can imagine.
Hideki will do it right.
Yeah, it won't be haggis. Or
It will
whatever
not
the
be.
hell. Haggis. What was it? Haggis?
Oh, God.
I got to tell you something. A dead dog wouldn't eat that stuff. You know
That's
that.
probably a ploy to just get food poisoning into all the great players in the room, and you can go ahead and knock them off the list of contenders for the week. All right, last one for me, Fuzzy. Lee Trevino, Chichi Rodriguez, and Gary McCord all sit down at a bar together. Whose vocal cords explode first?
Okay, I'm going to have to go with Lee Trevino's.
You think he can out-talk all of them?
Then Chi-Chi, and then Gary. Gary will finally jump in after the other two have already shit the bed. So, yeah.
I love it. Well, Fuzzy, Gretchen, thank you so much for joining us. Everybody go out and get your Fuzzy's vodka, code Subpar, and get fuzzed up.
Get fuzzed up.
Get
Exactly.
fuzzed up.
Thank you for your
I
time.
love you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to both.
Well, that was Fuzzy Zoeller and his daughter Gretchen joining us on Golf Subpar. She actually caddied for him in his last Masters. By the way, he actually treated her kind of like a caddy that last time.
Yeah, she got the real experience.
Yeah.
She also caddied for our boy Andres Gonzalez down on the Corn Ferry Tour last year. And when I was talking to Dre before the show, he's like, dude, straight up, could drink me under the table. It's like the girl can go, like she can hang out with the fellas, no problem. And sounds like Fuzzy agrees with that.
I love that. I mean, he was the last first-time winner around Augusta National. He won at Winged Foot. I mean, he wins at big-time places.
Yeah, and the interesting story with Greg Norman at that U.S. Open where he waved the white flag, like he thought that was for birdie to probably win the golf tournament given where that flag was. And it turns out it wasn't, and then he gets into a playoff, and that thing was over almost before it started.
I found that story very, very interesting. The fact that, the USGA official just came out and said, by the way, that was for par. Like, in my opinion, if he doesn't say anything, like maybe it's
Yeah, I don't know if
change.
there's a
I don't know.
leaderboard right there on 18 you could see, or how quickly they get that thing changed to show, hey, that was actually for par, not for birdie. But yeah, that was a nice little scoop from Mr. Rules official coming over like, hey, just in case you think that was for tweet, par. Because he made a bomb, from the back of the green, but he hit it in the grandstands apparently before that. Fuzzy couldn't see it.
Yeah, but what a personality, man. I would have loved to have been in that era and seen those guys, after the round, they're going to the bar, not the gym, having a few drinks. Really, really fun. Getting fuzzed up, as you say, with Fuzzy's vodka. Make sure you check that out.
It's worth trying out just for the slogan.
No doubt about it. Well, Sleaze, I mentioned earlier, we have delivered 2 winners in a row with FanDuel.
Heat check.
Yes.
Let's call that a heat check.
Well, the golf season is back in full swing, and there is no better way to get in on the action than on FanDuel Sportsbook. Each week, we love looking through all the different markets and finding fun and unique bets, like finishing position, matchups, round leaders, and group winners. And don't worry, if you missed out on getting your bets in before the tournament starts, FanDuel has live betting options all throughout the weekend, so you can always make every moment more. And if you win, Sleaze, how fast they get you those winnings?
Right away, Colt. 2 hours.
Sounds incredible. What else they got?
They got just an array of betting options. My favorite, by the way, which I'm completely addicted to, same game parlay. Love those. You don't got to wait the entire day to see if your parlay pays off. You can just keep firing game after game. They also got player props, futures, whatever you want. They got any sort of betting option. Live betting is also a great one. Get in a little bit late. Go ahead and fire on that thing. And then the odds boosts and specials, which they're coming out with every day. You get super big odds boosts on certain games throughout the week.
You've been chasing those same game parlays.
Dude, these same game parlays are addicting as shit. I've hit one, and now I'm like, I'll hit everyone. Now I'm a little bit over, but I'll rectify that.
Well, right now, FanDuel is letting you place your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Just place a bet on any game or golfer, and FanDuel will refund you up to $1,000 back if you don't win your first bet. Seriously, there's no strings attached. Just place any bet you want. If you win, you keep the cash. If you lose, you'll get your entire bet up to $1,000 back in site credit at FanDuel Sportsbook. All right, Sleaze, let's see if we can do it.
Let's make it that
three in a row. All right,
Three-peat.
we're on to the Houston Open. Carlos Ortiz is your defending champion. Pretty decent field here. We got Sam Burns and Scotty Scheffler as the co-favorites over at FanDuel at plus 1,800. Matthew Wolf's in the field. The Seagull, Charlie Hoffman's in the field. Who are we going with this week? We got to keep this streak going.
Yes, we're going to go for the three-peat. It was hard for me to go against Scotty Scheffler, shot 58 in Dallas right before Mayakoba, went down to Mayakoba, played really good golf. If Victor has any sort of hiccups there, he's right there trying to win that thing. But I'm going just slightly further down the board on a guy right now that is trending. Taylor Gooch going off at 30-1. So the Gooch man running smooth. The Gooch is running smooth right now. It's 4 starts this season, 4th, 11th, 5th, and 11th. We call that trending in the biz, but I mean, shot 74 in the final round this past week at Mayakoba with Victor Hovland in the final group. I think he's just getting a little more comfortable to being in the heat, being in the moment, trying to contend on a Sunday. I really like where he's at. He has not played a bad round of golf really until that 74 this entire year. I'm going to go with Taylor Gooch at 30-1. Ride that hot hand.
That double bogey on the last took him from a tie for 5th to 11th. That one stung.
That's a bank account herder right
well,
there.
you mentioned who I'm going with. He's due
Scotty?
for his first win.
Scotty doesn't
Scotty
know.
Scheffler. He's a Texas boy, plus 1,800. I think he played great in Austin at the match play last year. Almost got his first win there. I think there's no better place for him to get his first win than in Texas. Plus 1,800. Scotty Scheffler is your favorite. Going down the board for some value. This man finished tied for 15th at this golf course last year, Memorial Park. He's going off at 70-1. HV3, Harold Varner.
HV3, speaking of looking for that first one,
Yes.
It's going to be a happy day for a lot of people when HV3 gets it done. I'll go around that same number in terms of odds. I'm going to go with Mckinsey Hughes. Kind of a quiet assassin, has some big weeks, plays some good golf, doesn't get a ton of hype, but he's going off at 60-1. His last start out there, he finished 4th at the Zozo. So in his 12 rounds this year that he's played, he's only shot over 71 one time. He's just a guy that doesn't really beat himself, just kind of A to B, and just he's there a lot of times. And I think this is the kind of golf course that he could go out there and sneaky contend on. So Mckinsey Hughes, 60-1.
Trivia question: where did Mackenzie Hughes go to college?
Kent State.
Good job,
Hello.
Golden Flash.
Yeah, dude.
Well done.
A Canadian feeder. Canadian feeders. I know my Canadians, dude. Shout out to my Canadian peeps.
We'll head over to FanDuel and load up on our picks. And if you've never tried FanDuel Sportsbook, what are you waiting for? Go to FanDuel.com/subpar or download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to get started. Be sure to sign up with promo code SUBPAR so they know that we sent you. Must be 21 years and older and present in Arizona, Connecticut, or New Jersey. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 or 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat or 1-800-GAMBLER.
Bam.
Boom. That's how you
it.
do a read right there,
Roasted.
Sleaze. All right. You might see this beautiful hat I'm rocking here, Sleaze.
I see
this
it.
thing is coming very, very soon to the Golf.com Pro Shop. Our fresh birdie juice hats. Man, these things look good, don't
We
they?
got a lot of new merch coming. A lot of people have been asking. It's taken a long time to get these things in. They are here. They have arrived. They will be up soon. We're waiting on the visors for those of you big-headed individuals out there like myself. Those are coming very shortly, too. So gear up for the holidays. We got some new stuff hitting the shelves very soon.
Do you think your visors just take so long because it's so much cloth?
It's so much material,
Yeah,
and I need them
exactly.
handmade, and there's a whole process behind it. Yeah, dude. So it kind of makes sense, honestly.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. Everyone have a great week. We'll talk to you on next week's Golf Subpar.